Hello everybody, good morning. I am Nikhil Kumar. I am professor in the Department of English of Veer Kunwar Singh University Ara in the state of Bihar of India. Today I wish to speak on Sri Aurobindo's Integral Yoga. Sri Aurobindo's Integral Yoga is the summit of the yogic consciousness. When we enter into Sri Aurobindo's yogic consciousness, in which he discovered this truth of integral yoga, we find that it marks the manifestation of the evolutionary breakthrough which is going on this earth. In fact, it is the evolutionary breakthrough of matter itself, out of which life evolved, mind evolved, and the consciousness which exists beyond the plane of mind also evolved. The very fact that life evolved out of matter has been recognized by the biological sciences. By this integral yoga, Sri Aurobindo could discover the existence of the one transcendent divine. Not only this, that he discovered, he entered into the world of the transcendent divine consciousness. And it is by this integral yoga that he further discovered the truth of the descent of the transcendent divine consciousness on this earth. Let us try to concentrate on this transcendent divine consciousness. Let us try to know what this transcendent divine consciousness. It is the consciousness which exists prior to this creation. It is this consciousness which brought the creation, the Srishti, into existence. Here we recall the yogic vision of the Vedic rishis who discovered the truth of the coming of the creation into existence, which they expressed in a poetic line of Sanskrit language. Eko ham aham bahusyam prajayam. I am one, become many, yet remain the same. So I am one. This I is the transcendent divine consciousness, which is the integral consciousness. This I come to be many. In the many, creation comes into existence. So this I, which exists prior to creation, which is the transcendent consciousness, which has created this universe or which has brought the creation into existence. Sri Aurobindo calls it the supramental consciousness. When we look into the word supramental and split it into two parts, we have supra plus mental. That means the consciousness which exists beyond the plane of mental consciousness is the supramental consciousness. It is the transcendent divine consciousness. This supramental consciousness has brought the creation into existence, because the moment out of its will, when the one divine came to be many, the divine separative principle came into operation and the mind was created first. This is what Sri Aurobindo discovered. So, this very truth that there exists this world of transcendent divine consciousness, and this transcendent divine consciousness shall descend on this earth. This is what Sri Aurobindo says. He uses the term shall. It shall descend into the earth. Rather, it shall descend into matter. And the transcendent divine consciousness and life will be established here. But this could be possible for Sri Aurobindo because he undertook a yoga which he calls the integral yoga. In fact, Sri Aurobindo was born with the supramental consciousness, and it is by this fact that he was born with the supramental consciousness, he could be able to discover this truth of integral yoga. The truth of integral yoga evades the vision of the Vedic rishis and the writer of the Gita. It exists beyond the vision of the yogic consciousness of the yogi who is presented in the Gita. In other words, I could say, or rather I would say that all the yogic experiences which came into all the different Vedic rishis came in the single personality of Sri Aurobindo. So it is the evolutionary breakthrough, because if this supramental consciousness will descend into the earth is a matter of evolutionary breakthrough, and the integral yoga is also the evolutionary breakthrough. It is because of the fact that by undertaking the integral yoga, one can bring down the transcendent supramental consciousness into his being first. Later on, this supramental consciousness will be established into the earth. So, the integral yoga is the manifestation of the consciousness of the transcendent integral supramental consciousness. So, let us know in detail what this integral yoga is. Sri Aurobindo and other rishis have discovered that man is made up of body, life and mind. These are the three constituent parts of the being of man. And at the center of these three, there exists the divine self in man. The divine self in the being of man exists in its two poises. The central poise or the central being is what he terms Jivatma. And there is the other poise of the divine self of man, which he terms psychic being. Psychic being, we can say, is a spark of the Jivatma, the central being. This very spark exists within the minutest particle of matter itself. And this psychic being is instrumental in the evolution of the individual. So, psychic being, in fact, is a being which evolves or which gradually emerges as a result of the spiritual experiences, yogic experiences of man. As there is a mental being, there is a psychic being. Psychic being is a representative of the divine self, the Jivatma. As there is a mental personality, as there is a life personality, as there is a body personality or matter personality, there is the personality of this very representative of the Jivatma. A being of this representative of the Jivatma, the being of the spark of the Jivatma, emerges later on. So, this is what Sri Aurobindo calls psychic being. And this psychic being in human being exists behind the body, the life, and the mind within the being of man. This exists behind these three, and its seat is heart. This is what Sri Aurobindo discovers. So, as a result of, in fact, let me tell you that on the present stage of the evolution, man is not under the direct control of his divine self. There is a consciousness of the body sheath of his being, there is the consciousness of the life sheath of his being, there is the consciousness of mind sheath of his being. All are separative in nature, so much so separative that they are at conflict with one another, as a result of which what we call mortality exists within the man. Man is mortal on account of the fact that these three separative consciousnesses of matter, life, and mind are at conflict with one another. So, mortality exists, so many mental illness exists, so many vital illness on the plane of life exists, so many body illness exists. So, there is a need that this body, this life, and this mind in the being of man must come under the direct control of the divine self. So, Sri Aurobindo proposes a yoga by which the psychic being which exists behind body, life, and mind should come in the front and take over the command of these three. The yoga by which the psychic being has to be brought into the front so that it could take over the command of body, life, and mind has been termed by Sri Aurobindo as the yoga of psychicization. It is the yoga of the psychic transformation. It is a psychic transformation of body, life, and mind. Sri Aurobindo uses the term psychic as an adjective of soul because this representative of the projection of the divine self is divine self in itself. So Sri Aurobindo has used the term psychic as an adjective of the soul. So this has to be brought into the front so that it could take over the command of the body, life, and mind. Let me tell you before proceeding further that this integral yoga consists of the three yogas. The first one is what this yoga of the psychicization or psychic transformation or soul transformation of body, life, and mind. The other one is the yoga of the spiritual transformation or the spiritualization of man. And the final one is the supramental transformation of man. So there are these three yogas in the integral yoga. So many people say that the integral yoga consists of the yoga of psychicization, the yoga of spiritualization, and the yoga of supramentalization. So many people say, but we must not say in this way, because when we say in this way that the integral yoga consists of the yoga of psychicization, the yoga of spiritualization, and the yoga of supramentalization, it means that the integral yoga is the total sum of all these three, but it is not at all so. It is out of this truth of the integral yoga that these three yogas have come on the surface. They have come into the yogic vision of Sri Aurobindo. These three are inherent exactly in the same way in which the seven colors are inherent in the whitest spectrum of the sun ray. It is not that the sun ray is the total sum of these seven colors. It is not like that. The sun ray exists a priori. Similarly, the truth of the integral yoga exists a priori. And what Sri Aurobindo discovered as the yoga of psychicization of body, life and mind, the yoga of spiritualization of yoga, of the being of man, and the yoga of supramentalization, they are in fact inherent in the integral yoga. So the very integral yoga manifests the transcendent, integral, supramental, divine consciousness. The very fact that Sri Aurobindo has discovered it, no earlier yogis could, is the evidence of the fact that Sri Aurobindo was born with this transcendent, integral, supramental, divine consciousness. And it is on account of this very truth that he could be able to discover this yoga of this psychicization of body, life and mind. I must make it clear that this yoga of the psychicization of body, life and mind was discovered by Sri Aurobindo himself. It could not come into the vision of our earlier rishis, whether they are the Vedic rishis or the yogi of the Gita. So the very truth that there exists the supramental consciousness, it is a different world as the mind has its own world, and the supramental will descend into the earth. It could not be discovered by all the rishis which came in the past. So Sri Aurobindo says that there is an urgent need of undergoing the yoga of psychicization. All the rishis, including Sri Aurobindo, has discovered the planes of spiritual consciousness above the intellectual mind within the domain of mind itself. And the spiritual mind is called spiritual mind because there is the realization of the existence of one divine. This realization is not found within the intellectual mind of man, because the intellectual mind of man is subject to the separativity of consciousness. But as a result of the realization of the existence of one divine, the very separativity begins to decay. Sri Aurobindo has discovered 4 planes of spiritual consciousness, which he terms as the higher mind, the illumined mind, the intuitive mind, and overmind. As we ascend these planes of spiritual consciousness, the very separativity of consciousness continues to decay gradually, one by one. So, when somebody ascends a plane of spiritual consciousness, the very consciousness and power of that very particular plane of spiritual consciousness descends into him, and he undergoes a transformation which is called spiritual transformation, or that is called the spiritualization. Sri Aurobindo makes it clear that one can undergo spiritual transformation without undergoing this psychic transformation of his body, life and mind, this soul transformation of his body, life and mind. But in this very case, the very separativity of the body consciousness, the life consciousness and body consciousness is operative, and it pulls down the man from the planes of spiritual consciousness. So, in order to avoid this, in order to avoid the dangers which come on the path of the ascent to the higher planes of spiritual consciousness, it is a must for man to undergo the yoga of psychicization. This is what he calls in one of his letters only. So, when the psychic being comes in the front, it takes over the command of body, life and mind. As a result of taking command of the body, life and mind, the very transcendent integral consciousness percolates into the beings of the body, life and mind. Sri Aurobindo has made it clear that the divine consciousness, the divine self in an individual is the individual poise of the transcendent divine which exists on its sovereign divine plane of existence. So, this very transcendent divine consciousness percolates into the mind being, percolates into the life being, which Sri Aurobindo calls the vital being, and the matter being, that is to say the body being. As a result of which, these three constituent parts get rid of the separativity of consciousness, and these three become receptive to what descends from the plane of the divine. They become receptive, they become the obedient servant of the divine consciousness in the being of man. So, when we undertake first the yoga of this psychicization, and then we ascend the planes of spiritual consciousness, that is called the yoga of supramentalization, spiritualization, there is no gravitational pull of the separativity of the consciousnesses of the body, life and mind, because after psychicization their consciousnesses are no more divisive, no more separativity. Rather, there is a fundamental transformation in the consciousness of man, and the being of man is the state of what Sri Aurobindo terms psychicized being. Man has got this psychicized being after undergoing this soul transformation of his body, life and mind, and very safely he ascends the plane of spiritual consciousness. And not only ascends, the very consciousnesses of all the planes of spiritual consciousness descend into his being, and he undergoes a spiritual transformation accordingly. So, when man ascends the plane of overmind consciousness, which is the summit of spiritual consciousness on the plane of mind, the spiritual transformation is complete. So, one more transformation remains to take place in the being of man, which is the supramental transformation. So let us be attentive here. What happens on the path of our yogic journey as a result of this psychicization and spiritualization? I told you some time back that the divine self exists within a man's being in its two poises. One is the central, for which Sri Aurobindo calls Jivatma. Jivatma is the central being. It has produced a projection of itself, which is the psychic being. Psychic being may be called a representative of the divine, central divine being, that is Jivatma. So as we ascend on the higher planes of spiritual consciousness, the very distance between the psychic being and Jivatma reduces. It continues to reduce with the gradual ascent to the planes of the spiritual consciousness. And when we reach the height of the overmind consciousness, there is the least difference between the psychic being and the Jivatma. Of course, they are at a distance there, because overmind is essentially the separative principle of consciousness. As a result of the will of the transcendent divine to be many, this separativity comes into operation, and the first plane of spiritual consciousness, in fact it is the highest plane of spiritual consciousness from the point of our evolutionary vision, that is the first, that highest is the first plane of spiritual consciousness. The very phenomenon of coming to be many is what Sri Aurobindo terms involution. So the overmind plane of consciousness, which is the summit of the spiritual consciousness on the plane of mind from our evolution, from the point of our evolutionary vision, there remains the separativity of consciousness, but it is in it is very least it is. Separativity is very least. And there is a strong tendency of this very separativity of consciousness to decay. So when by this yoga of, or rather whether by this yoga of supramentalization, when man is able to bring down the transcendent supramental consciousness into his being, the psychic being and Jivatma come to be one. Because the supramental consciousness is not the divided consciousness, it is the integral consciousness. And with the descent of this supramental consciousness from its sovereign plane of transcendence, man undergoes a change. The supramental consciousness is established into his being, and the further consequent transformation takes place accordingly. This thing Sri Aurobindo has made very clear in his synthesis of you, in all his letters on you, in his The Life Divine, and finally in his epic poem Savitri. In his epic poem Savitri, we have two important characters. The one is Ashwapati, the other is Savitri. So in the traditional story, Ashwapati undertakes a tapasya for a child because he had no child. This very tapasya Sri Aurobindo has replaced with his yoga of psychicization and the yoga of spiritualization. And then we have Savitri. Savitri is here in Sri Aurobindo's epic Savitri, the incarnation of the Supreme Divine Mother. And the yoga which Savitri undertakes for bringing back the soul of Satyavan from the clutches of the death god Yam. That is the yoga of supramentalization. So Savitri's yoga is the yoga of supramentalization, which Sri Aurobindo very clearly reveals in his epic Savitri. And prior to that, there is the yoga of Ashwapati, which is which is the combination, or which are the yogas of the psychicization of body, life and mind of his being, and further of his spiritual transformation. So Sri Aurobindo makes it clear that unless we undergo these two yogas, the yoga of psychicization of body, life and mind, and the yoga of the spiritual transformation of man's being, this supramental transformation can never take place. So this integral yoga is imperative for man. It is a must for man. In the absence of this, the entire mankind, the earth itself, will continue to suffer from mortality. That's all. Thank you very much.